Hey guys, this is question MM124 of the Maths Methods Fortify study guide. So we've got this question that gives us a roller coaster track between A and B, and this little bit on the end, and it's modeled by the function h of x equals a plus b sine of cx. Now our first task in part A is to find the values of a, b, and c. The question has given us a bunch of information, which is all of this. So we know that the maximum point occurs at 18 meters high, which is this bit here. So this is 18 meters above ground. From A to B is equal to 30 meters. So from here to here is 30 meters. From the point B, the line is modeled on the function g of x equals 2, which means that this is 2 meters high. Yeah? It's smooth at B, which means that at B, it's flat, which means that this occurs at the minimum of the function of h of x. So if our maximum is 18 and our minimum is 2, that means that our midpoint, or our a value, lies halfway between those two. So we have a max of 18, a min of 2, and halfway between that is our midpoint. Halfway between 18 and 2 is 10, which means that our value of a is equal to 10. So we know that h of x equals 10 plus b sine of cx. Now, to find this value of b, this is our amplitude, okay? So this is the distance between our midpoint and our maximum. The distance between our midpoint and our maximum is 8, because 10 plus 8 is 18, which means that our b value has to equal 8. Except this is a negative sine graph because it starts at A and goes down, which means that this bit here has to equal negative 8. So we know that h of x equals 10 take away 8 sine of cx. So this is a really good start, but now we need to find our value of c. Our value of c defines our period. Remember, so our period is equal to 2 pi over b, or in this case, c, because c is our coefficient, which means that we need to work that out using how far from A to B we are. So from A to B is 30 meters, which means that this bit here is a quarter of a period, this bit here is a quarter of a period, another quarter, another quarter, and another quarter. So because we're doing one full cycle and then 1/4 of a cycle, that means that this whole section here from A to B is 5/4 of a period. So 5/4 times our period is equal to 30, right? Which means that our period is equal to 30 divided by 5 on 4, which is 24 meters. But we're not done yet because we actually need to find the value of c, which means that our period, 24, is equal to 2 pi over c. So c is equal to pi on 12. So a equals 10, b equals -8, c equals pi on 12. Done. So your third mark is here, your first mark is here, and here we should have said as well b equals -8, which gives us our second mark. If you kind of write them all at the end, then that's cool. You'll just get all the marks for that. So that is part A. Please let me know if you have any questions about that. Now for part B, we're asked to find the horizontal distance of the coaster when it reaches its maximum height. So I'm gonna get rid of all of this. I don't think we need this anymore. So we've got our part B, and we want to know the horizontal distance of the coaster from point A when it reaches its maximum height. So we know that h of x is equal to 10 minus 8 sine of pi x on 12. And at its maximum height, the height is equal to 18, as it tells us in the question, which means that 18 is equal to 10 minus 8 sine pi x on 12. Awesome. From here, we get to -1 equals sine of pi x on 12. The inverse sine of -1 equals pi x on 12. The inverse sine of -1 is 3 pi on 2, because -1 of sine, this bit here, occurs at the angle 3 pi on 2. And that equals pi x on 12. Rearranging this, we get x equals 18 meters at the maximum height. So it's actually 18 meters up and 18 meters across. So this is your first and only mark for that question. For part C, we simply need to state the period of the function, which we actually worked out before to be 24 meters, because it was because 30 was 5 on 4 times the period. So that's your part C done. That's your first and only mark. That should be quite straightforward if you've done the first part. If you get the value of C in the first part, part A, without actually working out the period somehow, then you would just do P equals 2 pi over C, where C was our pi on 12, and you would get that period equals 24 meters. For part D, we need to work out the first value of x for which h equals 15, giving your answer correct at 2 decimal places. So, part D, when the height equals 15, we can simply say 15 equals 10 minus 8 sine of pi x on 12. And rearranging from here, what we end up getting is -5 on 8 equals sine pi x on 12. And then from there we go inverse sine of -5 pi on 8. Sorry, -5 on 8 equals pi x on 12, which means that pi x on 12 equals -0.675, 3.817, and 5.608 because of our domain here. And that means that x is equal to -2.58, 14.58, and 21.42. Because our x value has to be greater than 0, the first time it reaches 15 meters is at 14.58, because x can't be negative here. X has to be greater than 0, which means that x is equal to 14.58 meters. This is correct at 2 decimal places. Do not forget that. Your first mark comes here, where you identify the pi x on 12 equals all these. And then your second mark comes when you actually write the answer and get 14.58. So that's part D done. And what we need to work out now is part E. So part E asks us, between points A and B, how much horizontal distance does the coaster cover while lower than a height of 15 meters? Part E, fantastic. So the coaster is only above 15 meters high. Let's draw this coaster out again. Something like this. Horrible drawing, but you get the idea. This is A and this is B. Cool. It's only above 15 meters high between x equals 14.58 and x equals 21.42, according to our previous question. So above this point is 15. Above this point is 15, where this is 14.58, and this, and this is 21.42. So the distance that it travels below 15 meters is everything else. So here it's above 15 meters, which means that everywhere else it's below 15 meters. So let's work out the distance it's at above 15 meters, which will give us 21.42 minus 14.58. That'll be this section in here, and that will give us 6.84 meters. Now, what we need to do is work out the distance that it's under 15 meters. So if it's above 15 meters, 6.84 meters from A to B, then from A to B is 30 meters, which means that below is 30 meters minus 6.84, which gives us 23.16 meters. Now this is our second mark, and our first mark comes when we find the above 15 meters. So we work out the spots where it first goes over 15 meters and the spot where it starts going back down below 15. We work out that space in between, and then we minus that from the total distance from A to B. If you have any questions about that, please let me know. But that's the total question for MM124, all parts included. Please let me know if you have any questions. But otherwise, have a great day, guys.